Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of Zack Fair Soldier First Class from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. And this is the second version of Zack I've reviewed here on the channel. Now, the first version was the Soldier Second Class, which I reviewed. And so this is him, full soldier. He's first class rank. And the packaging here is very similar to the second class. The Crisis Core packaging here, you see the Buster Sword on the cover, which looks really nice. I got this from Square Enix, the website, and the packaging is a little beat up, as usually comes from Square Enix. Of course, this figure's been out since, I think, October of last year is when he came out. But I ordered it directly from Square Enix. It's sold out on Big Bad Toy Store right now, but it's still available on Square Enix if you're looking to still pick this up. But it's an official product. It has the hologram here, the Square Enix hologram. And, here's the hazard, 15 years and up, and a choking hazard for 3 years and younger. But nice, subtle packaging, like a blackish gray with the sword inscribed here in like a chrome look. And then here's the side of the packaging. And then here's the back. You get a picture of the figure holding the Buster Sword in that iconic pose with Midgar behind him and with some of the feathers of Sephiroth. Sephiroth's been here. So if you haven't seen this packaging before, you get some legalese down here. Here's some information about Square Enix. Here's the UPC if you want that. And then the packaging is really cool. It has magnets in the corners, and it opens up to reveal the figure behind some plastic. So there you see Zack Fair Soldier First Class. He has a different hairstyle. He has the Buster Sword this time and some extra hands. And you see some more of those feathers. And then here's a nice picture of the figure again. A nice photograph of the figure. No materia slotted in the Buster Sword, which is unfortunate. I've reviewed, a couple Cloud figures, a couple Zack figures, and I understand that they have this set up to put on the back to hold it over his back, but it would have been cool if you could interchange materia. So I'm always bummed out they don't have that as an option. And then there's some more pictures down here of Zack. There's the different hairstyle you see with the Soldier First Class. And we'll compare the two figures side by side to show the differences. They're very subtle, but there are some differences. No write-up. The Crisis Core figures don't have a write-up about the game or the figure, unlike the FF7 remake figures. They do. But without further ado, let's get this guy unpackaged and see all that he comes with. All right, and here is Zack Fair Soldier First Class with everything he comes with. He even comes with some instructions. Very simple. It shows you how to change out the hands. He has 5 right hands and 4 left hands. And then it shows you the 3 different hands that can be used to hold the Buster Sword. And then it shows you the little piece that can go into his back. This unplugs from his back, that plugs in. And then the Buster Sword can be hung from his back in either one of those 2 materia slots. And then back here just shows you the base and how it works, the clamps it comes with, and then some legalese and some foreign languages. But yeah, let's take a look at Zack here. Again, all these Square Enix PlayArts Kai figures come with the same stand. Final Fantasy Remake, Crisis Core, it's the same thing. This black stand has different holes there to put the flight arm in, so you can move around. And it comes with 2 different size clamps. Typically the smaller clamp works for most of these figures because they're so skinny. And then here's the Buster Sword. And we'll look into that in more detail, but it looks really nice. The paint apps are really good on that. I'm not sure if it's the same sword Cloud has. We'll double check that. And there's the peg. That peg right there is what's used to put in his back to hold the sword. And then there's some of the extra hands. And the PlayArts Kai figures the hands come on these little stands, which I think is a nice touch. So if you want to keep the hands out, maybe get rid of the packaging, you can keep the hands out next to the figure or put it somewhere in some Tupperware container or something, maybe marked, Zack Fair Soldier First Class hands. So cool they do that. And then here's the figure. Great detail. I really love the second class soldier look as well. And this one looks to be just as nice. The hair is different on this one, as well as the scar on his cheek there. We'll look at that in greater detail. But that's the biggest difference between the first class and the second class is the hair, the scar, and then of course the swords are different. The Buster Sword that he's given. So very cool. Let's go ahead and zoom in and look at the figure a little bit closer now. Okay, so here's more of a detailed look of Zack Fair, Soldier First Class, and you can see the hair, the nice detail they did in the hair. It looks really good. The shoulder pauldrons look real nice. You can see how long his hair is in the back, and there's actually a ball joint, a ball hinge here that allows you to move the hair. See how the hair can move? Just like the other version, the second class, could move the hair as well. So that's cool because it helps you to be able to look up more. And if I zoom in here, you can see the scar right there on his cheek. And then there's earring. You can just see the earring. And then there is the soldier eyes. If I can maybe get a better clarity there. There's the soldier eyes. Yeah. So it looks really good. Here's the garb, which I believe this is the same as the second class. We'll have to put them side by side to compare, but this is all rubbery plastic. This the crotch piece and then the belt, it's all rubbery plastic, so it can give you some more room to move the figure with articulation. But and the pants look real nice, like a darkish blue with some black. And then the Spec Ops sweater, I always like how that looks. I love the detail in the sweater, the turtleneck. It looks really nice. So let's go over articulation. Like most Play Arts Kai, it's very, very similar to the other ones. There is a ball joint at the base of the neck, and at the neck there is a ball joint. So you get some good looking down. You get that hair up. You can look up really well. So great maneuverability for his head. You can tilt it. Get some real nice expression from his face doing that. And then the shoulder pauldrons, I didn't notice this when I reviewed the second class, but they're on like a hinge. If I zoom in here, let's see if we can see the hinge. Yeah, you see that hinge they're on? So they can hinge up and down, but they're also attached to this collar piece here. So they can also rotate. Check that out. They can rotate. So you can really get some nice maneuverability of those shoulder pauldrons. I like that. It's not just up and down, it's forward and back. So that really helps for articulation when you're trying to get him up with the sword and different things like that. And then the arms are, they can go 90 degrees. And then there is a bicep swivel. And then double joints at the elbows. There's what the elbow looks like. And then the hinge are ball hinge wrists, and they ratchet a little bit. So when holding that Buster sword, it kind of helps strengthen that arm. And then there is a cut here at the upper torso on a ball joint, so it allows for some good range. And then the same with the waist. There's a ball joint, but it's hard because of this. Even though it's rubbery plastic, it's hard to get. You can do this with them, but you can twist them too a little bit. And then the legs are in ratchets, as you can hear that. And there's a thigh cut right here. It's kind of hard to see because of the pants, but there's a thigh cut. So you can rotate the thigh, and then double jointed knees. And those knees go really nice. Nice smooth joints, nice tight joints. And that's what the knee joint looks like. Not the prettiest, but it is what it is. And then the ankles are a ball hinge joint on ratchets. You can hear it. And then toe articulation. And then there's the boot. They actually have treads on the boot, which is nice. And just to show you guys these joints, I've never done this before. You can see he can almost do the splits. He can do the splits. But if I zoom in here, you can see the joints. And you can actually see the ratchet. Those lines there is where it ratchets. So that's how those joints look in the hips and the legs. So of course this one's twisted now. Yeah, hold on a second. All right, and there's this pose right here, which is struck right here very nicely. Not a difficult pose to achieve, but it looks really cool. For some reason, that Buster sword, seeing it over someone's shoulder, like Cloud holds it, like he holds it, is really awesome. It just, to see a sword that weighs that much, a great sword, being held over someone's shoulder like that is a really cool look. I mean, it's very statue pose, but it's hard to get a cooler look than this with this figure in your Detolf. Let's see what else we can do for posing. All right, here's another pose from the box as well. Not too difficult of a pose to strike, but something kind of cool with him holding the Buster Sword like that, maybe after he's just fought a bunch of Shinra soldiers trying to save Zack and Aerith. If you've played the beginning of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I don't want to spoil anything, but you might get something like this to look at. But again, that Buster Sword, I think it looks really good. The paint apps on that sword look really good. You know, gunmetal, silver, there's a little bit of a bronze wash there. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that Buster Sword. I think it looks fantastic. So really cool pose. Let's try one more pose. I think it will look really neat. Okay, so the perspective of this is nuts because that blade is so long, and the way the camera's getting it, it looks like it's crazy looking, but it looks really cool. This is kind of another shot, a blogger shot from one of the pictures there online. I don't have it perfectly replicated. His arms are more straight in that picture, but I mean, you get the idea of him kind of holding this massive sword. I mean, look at this thing. You know, every Final Fantasy VII fan, you know, I think loves the Buster Sword. It's iconic with Cloud. And of course, you know, with Zack, he had it before Cloud did. But what a cool look. All right, now let's go ahead and compare him between the other Zack and then also Cloud and see what differences we can find. All right, so we have Zack Fair, Soldier Second Class on the left, and then Zack Fair, Soldier First Class on the right. And I didn't realize, but on the left, you can see how much more blue his outfit is. The mold is the same. The pants, everything is the same. It's the same body. It's the same mold. Everything else is the same, but the color. So there's more blues involved on the left one than it is in the First Class. Now the other differences obviously are the swords. The First Class has the Buster Sword. The Second Class just has the Second Class sword. But if we get into the head sculpts, here you can kind of see some difference here, especially the hair. And I prefer the Second Class hair better than the First Class. It's just my personal preference. I think most people like the First Class better. But there's the difference there. I think the head sculpts are the same, I think, except of course for the scar on the cheek, which is on the right there. The Second Class doesn't have that scar yet. The earrings are on both, but the Second Class doesn't have the scar. So even the pauldrons look the same. I believe it's the same mold, same make. But you can see the blues. Look at how different the Second Class blue is compared to the First Class. This is closer to Cloud, and I think that's accurate. I think, if I remember correctly, Zack actually wore kind of more of a black outfit than the traditional blue. So yeah, pretty cool. And he comes in at just under 11 inches. It's like 10 3/4 if you count the hair, like 10 7/8 inches. Let me now throw Cloud in here. See if we can do this on the same screen here in one shot, adding Cloud. And this Cloud I have is the special edition that came with the hard edge. I have the other edition, but he's on the bike with Jesse, so he's not going to be able to be here right now. But yeah, you can see there's definitely a different mold with Cloud. The pants are completely different than the Zack Fair pants. And if we zoom in a little bit, Cloud's definitely more lanky than Zack is. Zack is a little more beefed up, just a little bit. And of course, the shoulder pauldron, you know, since Cloud's no longer a soldier, he has the shoulder pauldron, but it's different than the soldier ones. But you know, he's definitely shorter than Zack, as you can see. And the older Play Arts Kai, the pigment in the skin was very, very white. As you can see how much more white Cloud looks than Zack. These are newer figures within the past, 6, 7, 8 months, whereas this is a couple years. And you can see they've made the pigmentation better on the newer figures. So just a small, subtle difference there. But man, these look really cool. Really cool to have these guys together. Let's do a special shot here real quick. All right, so this is what the cover of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks like. This is actually the vinyl record. I got back into vinyl a few months ago, and I got this from Square Enix. It's a Japanese import, but maybe I'll review this record because this is a collection site, not just about toys, but it could be anything. But this is what the cover of Rebirth looks like. So you have Cloud over here on the left pulling the sword. You have Sephiroth with Masamune, and then you have Zack over here kind of looking off in the distance. So check this out. There it is. You know, as close as I can for this setup. That's kind of what it looks like. You know, Sephiroth's further back, but I couldn't get him in the shot without moving him closer. But how cool is that to have those three in a collection? Of course, that sword's not right. It should be the Buster Sword for Cloud, but you get the picture. Man, really cool. Liking this a lot. Let's check out the Buster Swords real quick and see if they're the same. Okay, and here's the two Buster Swords. The one is from Cloud, and the other one is for Zack. So the one on top is Zack's, and the one on the bottom is Cloud's. So there's some subtle differences here. If I zoom in, you can see the wrap on the hilt, on the handle is different. Cloud's is actually brown. This is like a off brown, almost like a gray. And there is subtle differences in the paint apps on the swords. The bottom one's Cloud, the top one is Zack. You can see Zack's sword is lighter, but it gives better detail on these points right here than it does for Cloud. But Cloud has more of the silver edge with some damage. You see some marks on the edge of the sword. So this is the newer one, this is the older one. Which one do you guys like better? I think I like the look of Zack's better. The dry brushing seems to have been done better, in my opinion. Although I do like the silver edge on Cloud's. But I think they're about the same size. But yeah, there is some subtle difference. So they're not the exact same sword. So it's a repaint, right? Some repaint work with this first class soldier, Zack, along with a new head sculpt, hair sculpt, and yeah, so is this figure worth it? Well, if you're a Zack Fair fan, I would say absolutely. Most people prefer the first class soldier look of Zack. That's kind of when he had his most heroic moments. Especially if you've played Rebirth here recently this year. There's some nice scenes for Zack to shine in that game, which I think is really cool. You actually get to play as Zack, which I thought was a cool touch in Rebirth. I'm actually replaying Rebirth right now for the second time, fresh, and I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying these games. I know some of the purists don't like the remake and Rebirth, but I absolutely love them. Love them both. So let me know what you guys think. This one was $189. He's not cheap. It's expensive. It's an expensive figure for what it is, you know, but little under 11 inches tall. It's not Hot Toys, but it's getting to be that close to that price range. So what do you guys think? Do you own Zack Fair first class, second class soldier? Do you like them both? Which one do you prefer? Let me know. You know, give me a like, thumbs up, whatever, a comment. I love to respond to this kind of stuff, talk about this stuff. And if you guys want, you know, please feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. So until next time, this has been Play Arts Kai, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, Zack Fair, Soldier First Class.